I hope you're right, Ben. You're our resident optimist, and I always enjoy greatly hearing from you. This country is in grievous condition right now. Terrible condition.
You're bankrupt, and you're like, I don't know if people remember seeing the Roadrunner show. You have Wile E. Coyote running in midair, and somebody looks down and says, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's it.
Bam!
Well, that look down could happen at any time. 78% of Americans believe the country could go completely bankrupt at any time.
Well, the thing is, you see, what's going to happen is a giant illusion is going to shatter. It's not going to be a bankruptcy so much as a return to reality, and it'll be a very good thing for most Americans. I mean, the American people have been losing their living standards since 1973. Now, they've massaged the statistics, try to make people unaware of this, but they've been slowly trying to turn you into a third-world country for a very long time, because the people who are poor and just barely struggle to make ends meet are less likely to cause political trouble.
Absolutely.
But that is also going to come to an end when this whole illusion shatters.
All right.
Another thing
Hold on, Ben, we got a break here. Hold on. My guest is our colleague, Benjamin Fulford, who is the Asia Pacific Bureau Chief for Forbes magazine for 9 years. And he is with us once a month to give his view from Tokyo about the world political and economic system. Back in just a minute. Okay, back with Ben in Tokyo. All right. So how does it look from over there, Ben? What are you seeing? Are you seeing the liberal-controlled Zionist press here putting out a constant stream and drivel of everything's looking good? The controversial health bill will ultimately be great for all Americans. Health care for all. What are you seeing? How big is the lie over there?
The lie, I mean, they see right through it here. The lie is now limited to within the U.S. borders, you know. The control over the media is only now American network TV and controlled papers. And I want to talk a little bit about how they control the press, because I went through it personally. And it's very interesting to see how these people operate and how they manipulate organizations. Now, first of all, I'd like to remind people, like my colleague Paul Klebnikov, the Moscow bureau chief for Forbes magazine, was shot 10 times as he walked out of his apartment a few years ago. And they took him to the hospital, and he put him in the hospital elevator, and the elevator stopped for 8 minutes, and he died there. Around this time, Daniel Pearl from the Wall Street Journal was beheaded in Pakistan, again by the same Nazis that killed Paul Klebnikov. I don't care if they say it's Chechens or Taliban. It's just not. It's high-level U.S. government figures behind this. And in my case, I suffered 4 murder attempts in an attempt to silence me, but there's just too many of us now. And the other thing that I want to point out is this. I want to talk about the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. It's where all the corporate media and media from other countries, like Iran Press TV, they all gather there, and they invite senior people for press conferences. And it's a place where they used to be free. But what happened was I organized a press conference about 9/11, raising doubts about the official story at that press club. And what happened after that was amazing. First of all the tricks and maneuvers they tried to do to prevent that press conference from happening was mind-boggling. But even when it happened, they tried not to publicize it. And afterwards, all these people I didn't know from Adam just started bad-mouthing me, saying I was crazy, I was a loose cannon, they should kick me out of the club. They kind of put me off all the lists that allow me to suggest candidates for press conferences, and it got even worse. I just didn't care at that point because I realized the real battle was not going to be in the press in the English language. The reason is very simple. There are about, I'd say, 4 kinds of correspondence. One is someone who is totally brainwashed. They actually believe the stuff, right down to the core of their being. Another knows that it's all BS, but they're very afraid of losing their cushy job, so they go along with it.
Right.
And the third group is actively enforcing this control mechanism. And the fourth group are actual real journalists who are interested in freedom of the press and truth. And I would guess that that fourth group is about 40% of the members of that club. The rest are either scared or they're part of the agenda or they're totally brainwashed. And it's a sad-looking thing to see these people who are supposedly very intelligent believing absolute nonsense. Even the mathematics in the official statistics doesn't work anymore, but they still don't get it. The math is there for them to do, but they still can't figure it out. So it's kind of pathetic until you realize that the rest of the world already has known this for a long time, that you have a brainwashed slave culture controlled by a small cadre of a very intelligent elite, and that your institutions have all been corrupted at the very highest level. And this is not just something like the press club. You have things like science magazines where you have this so-called peer review process where you don't know who these peers are, but, you know, they basically censor scientific information as part of their control grid. It's not a free process. They have destroyed freedom of information at many levels, and they've done it so much that they've destroyed Western civilization's many advantages and allowed Asia to take the initiative in the world now, along with Russia. It's a crime that they've done to all those great institutions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I've been contacted now by many, many groups that have technology that they say has been forbidden. I've now met several different industrialists who claim that they had factories blown up, inventors killed, and they're eager for revenge. And we're now going ahead and we're starting to build factories with this once forbidden technology. It means the end of the oil industry as an energy industry. From now on, oil will be a building block, a material to use to make things. It won't be used as energy. Free energy technology is real. I've seen some of it now with my own eyes. Let's just look at one example. I know people, there are certain key points that they focus their brainwashing efforts on. Key fortresses. So one is they have this so-called second law of thermodynamics. Now, you got to ask yourself, why does science have a law? This is not a court case. This is reality. It should only be evidence. But no, there's a law. And that law is really to enforce energy rationing as a control mechanism. It's nothing to do with scientific reality. But let's just say that this is true, okay? Even so, about 10 years ago, when I was working for Forbes, I went and interviewed the scientists at the Japanese solar power company. And they said that within 2 or 3 years, solar energy would be competitive with oil. And oil was $20 a barrel at that time. Then, when the price of oil went to $150 almost, I called them out. I said, wow, you guys must be doing great. And they said, no. The price of silicon rose 5 times. Silicon is sand. It's the third most common element on this planet.
Right.
There's no way it's going to be expensive.
Of course.
So you can see right there is an example, without trying to break the second law of thermodynamics or all that other part of that brainwashed mind control grid.
Right.
Within that grid of brainwashed information, you can still see solar power is now so cheap, you could give everyone a free solar panel and charge them electricity bills for about a year, and that's it. They never have to pay another electric bill or energy bill.
Right. I agree. Hold on, and when we come back, I want to get your take on the Google-China internet war.
The most consistently fascinating, informative, and unique program on radio, the Jeff Rense program, can be yours to listen to anytime, anywhere, whenever you want to hear it. For pennies a day, our subscribers can download any of Jeff's thousands of programs.